Liri, pavarësi, demokraci. Freedom, independence, democracy. Liberté, indépendance, démocratie. Dear President Metsola, honorable members of the European Parliament, those three powerful words were not just words passionately and repeatedly uttered by Kosovo's founding father, Dr. Ibrahim Rugova. They were indeed the vision of the people of Kosovo. Today, that vision of Rugova, of our heroes, and of our people is a reality. Kosovo today is free, Kosovo today is independent, and Kosovo today is a beacon of democracy. It was 25 years ago that here in Strasbourg, our visionary leader, President Rugova, was awarded the Sakharov Prize by the European Parliament. That day, he was introduced by the then President of the Parliament as a man who is the voice of his people, a people that can rarely make themselves heard. President Rugova viewed the prize as a recognition of the sacrifice of the people of Kosovo and their struggle for freedom. But crucially, he used this very platform to ask for the support of the members of Parliament to come together on the name of the very values that this union stood for. He asked for Europe to come together in defense of an oppressed people. In the midst of war, as tanks were rolling into my hometown Mitrovica, I was just 15 years old at that time. And I remember how that moment, that speech, gave us so much hope. We were finally being heard. Europe had not just opened its doors for President Rugova, but it had opened its hearts and minds for a systematically oppressed people. Today, also standing here in Strasbourg, I am honored to be the very first president of the independent Republic of Kosovo to speak before the European Parliament, and most importantly, to say thank you. Thank you for the immeasurable support and for your continued contribution that this institution has made for our freedom, our democracy, and our independence. As President Rugova closed his remarks, he spoke of the old Albanian proverb saying, "A house cannot be kept without friends." This was true for us during the 90s, but it is equally so today, as we look to strengthen our alliances and one day join you here in this family of nations. Today, I am here to extend the deepest gratitude of the people of Kosovo for your unwavering support. And at this critical juncture, to urge you to remain steadfast by our side, not just because we are part of the family of nations that make up our continent, but because the values this institution represents are a fundamental part of our history. European values are woven deep within the tapestry of our society. We, the people of Kosovo, have walked side by side with European institutions, bound by a rich heritage. We continue to walk side by side as we fight to protect our shared values. And we will remain side by side as we guide our continent towards the full attainment of a Europe whole, free, and at peace. Today, I stand before you not only as the president of a resolute European nation and an EU-bound country, but also as the leader of the youngest Europeans. Our country is bursting with energy, immense talent, and fervent European enthusiasm. Kosovo is Europe, and to be Kosovar is to be European. Our young republic was born to the beat and sound of Europe. When Kosovo declared independence on the 17th of February 2008, in absence of our national anthem, it was the European anthem that echoed in our institutions, in our squares, and in the streets of my country. Just like the fearless spirit of a newborn republic, the ode to joy resonated with the feelings we carried in our hearts and souls, admiring and embracing the ideals of freedom, peace, and solidarity. Determined to join the European family of nations and inspired by the European Union, we found solace and unity in the universal language of music. But this act went beyond symbolism. It was our declaration to the world that the European Union was our rightful destination, and a plea for European institutions to embrace these unwavering aspirations. At 15 years old, the Republic of Kosovo remains the most pro-EU country in the region and beyond. More than 95% of our people expressed their uncompromised yearning to join these institutions, encapsulating our historic strategic orientation. Enshrined in our Constitution, Euro-Atlantic integration remains our one and only destination. Euro-Atlantic integration, it's not just an ambition for us. I am confident it will soon be our future. In our DNA, European values and the EU spirit are deeply ingrained. It is these values that shaped our past, inspire us in the present, and guide us towards a future where Kosovo flourishes as a beacon of European ideals. Ladies and gentlemen, honorable members of the European Parliament, the Republic of Kosovo stands as a testament to the resilience, determination, and unwavering spirit of its people, to the strength of our liberation struggle, but also, and importantly, the support of our allies, the support of partners like this great institution. The very existence of our country demonstrates what democracies can achieve when they stand together, when they stand by the oppressed, when you all stand by those who fight for justice and equality, and when we all stand together against tyranny, dictatorship, and genocide. When we stand together as Europeans, freedom flourishes, democracies strengthen, equality is instilled, prosperity grows, and unbreakable alliances are formed. I am confident that this same Euro-Atlantic unity and resolve will continue to support Ukraine all the way through to victory. In times of great uncertainty and turmoil in Europe, the actions we take now together will determine our future in so many fundamental ways. Perhaps even more important than the challenge itself is the way we're going to respond to it. But ladies and gentlemen, moral challenges like the one which we face on European soil today, with Russia's aggression against Ukraine, shouldn't need long philosophical or political debates, because the answer should be immediately clear. There's no halfway house to democracy and freedom. There should be no gray zone as to where we stand against autocracies and against tyrannies. European unity thus far has been unprecedented and perhaps historic, but we must go one step further to secure Ukraine's victory and its just peace. This moment, right now, for Europe and the world, requires leaders to come together to envision a brighter world and to take even bolder decisions. This will not be easy. It will require courage, vision, and most importantly, even greater cooperation among us. No matter how big or small, we should be united by the values we believe in. Every country, every one of you, every one of us can and must play a part. The words "never again" were not just a slogan for the people of Kosovo. These words, in fact, shouldn't be a slogan for anyone. But just 2 decades ago, we see utter devastation on European soil once again as Putin wages his illegal and indiscriminate war against Ukraine. The people of Kosovo don't have to imagine the pain and suffering of Ukraine. We have already lived through it. We don't have to imagine their loss, because to this day, our hearts ache for the friends and family members we lost during the war, many of whom are still missing because of enforced disappearance. We don't have to imagine their sorrow and frustration in the face of grave injustices. We feel it too. So when we, the people of Kosovo, say we stand with Ukraine, we don't just say it. We feel it with every fiber of our being. The 24th of February 2022 was a dark day for Europe and an unimaginable, painful day for the people of Ukraine. For us, it was a memory relived, one we hoped to never witness again. In our darkest days, you stood by us. Today, as we stand shoulder to shoulder with Ukraine, we are jointly fortifying the very foundations of Europe. It is a testament to our unyielding unity, our unbreakable solidarity, and our unequivocal commitment to peace and democracy. We owe it to Ukraine, and we owe it to Europe. This is our time to exemplify the unity, solidarity, and support that you so graciously bestowed upon my people in our hour of need. Kosovo may be a small country, but we are willing to do whatever it takes to support our Ukrainian friends. We were the very first country in our region to impose sanctions against Russia and have continuously been seeking effective and impactful ways in which we can help. From training Ukrainians in demining so that we can ensure as many lives are saved from the horrendous traces of war that Russia is leaving behind, to working to support survivors of sexual violence, as well as a dedicated program to support Ukrainian journalists to continue to reporting the truth, we stand ready to do more. Madam President, members of the European Parliament, dear friends, throughout our history, we have faced countless challenges and overcome insurmountable odds to stand proudly as an independent country. Indeed, our very journey to freedom, independence, and our struggle for self-determination resonates with the very foundation upon which the European Union was built, a union founded on the principles of peace, democracy, human rights, and recognizing each other's sovereignty, but also on the important principles of transitional justice and dealing with the past. Since declaring independence in 2008, the people and institutions of Kosovo have embarked on a remarkable journey of transformation, growth, and of increasing prosperity. We have worked tirelessly to strengthen our institutions, foster economic growth, and consolidate our democracy. Our young and dynamic population, coupled with a well-educated workforce, doesn't just serve to make it one of the most vibrant places in Europe. It also forms a solid foundation for sustainable growth and prosperity. The rule of law stands as the bedrock of any functioning democracy, including as the bedrock of my country. And our commitment to justice is unwavering. We remain steadfast in our commitment to combat crime and corruption and enhance transparency. And we are absolutely determined in our efforts to ensure that justice is served and that all individuals, regardless of their position or influence, are held accountable for their actions. as people that have experienced firsthand atrocities and gross violations of basic human rights. We have emerged stronger, more resilient, and deeply committed to the cause of justice and equality. Today, we don't just speak about human rights, we act upon them. We stand as unwavering champions, determined to safeguard and promote these rights for every citizen of our young republic, no matter their ethnicity, religion, or other background. In this spirit of inclusivity, I call on all Serbs living in Kosovo to utilize their advanced rights afforded to them in Kosovo's constitution. The Republic of Kosovo is your home, and we will do everything in our power to make sure that you feel included, equal, and heard. Building an ever more diverse society remains our everyday commitment. These efforts stand at the very foundation of our Constitution, which is one of the most progressive constitutions on European soil. But our efforts in this regard would go in vain if they were not also centered on advancing gender equality and promoting women empowerment in all walks of life. It is my lifetime conviction, and even more since I entered this office, to create equal opportunities for girls and women and to cultivate a more equal and better place for all. Unstoppable in their fight to pursue justice, determined to create a better future for all, firm in their engagement to bring our societies to new heights, and committed to breaking historically stubborn glass ceilings, the girls and women of Kosovo are a strong reminder and a daily motivation to never stop fighting for what is right. And as we navigate these turbulent times and modern chapters of history characterized by great uncertainties, we have to be reminded of the determinant role of women in processes of peace and security. We must be reminded that sustainable peace requires inclusivity and that peace and security thrive on the foundations of inclusive democracies. Dear members of this esteemed institution, you will all know the story of Kosovo. Some of you will have visited, some of you will have studied it, and some of you will have even played your own part in our journey of freedom and independence. But the true story of Kosovo, as I always say, is the story of its people. A country and a democracy is not stronger because of any one individual or leader or any single reform. A country's strength comes from the collective strength of its people. The individual stories of almost 2 million people make Kosovo the success it is today. With me today, I have a delegation that is a true representation of our beloved republic. It represents our tough and challenging history, as well as the spirit of resilience, persistence, and determination that is a promise for a great future. Today with me is Vasfia Krasniqi-Goodman. She was only 16 years old. 16 years old, when Milosevic's forces ripped her away from the arms of her mother, in her very own house, to take her to a place that would mark the darkest hour and day of her lifetime. That day, for hours, she was held at gunpoint and raped, and then raped over and over again. But it was Vasfia who recognized that it is in silence that wounds deepen. So she decided to speak up. She spoke for justice, against stigma, and managed to rally an entire people behind her. She didn't just dedicate her life to justice. Today, she is the voice of thousands of survivors of wartime sexual violence during the war in Kosovo. She is a real-life hero, you would say, and I couldn't agree more. But then I want to tell you that we are surrounded by countless everyday heroes in my country, including Fahriye Hoti, who is also joining me today in the delegation. She comes from the village of Krusha, where almost all the men were killed during the war, including many who remain forcibly disappeared. Among them to this day is Fahriye's husband. Left alone, helpless, and searching for her beloved husband, Fahriye could have chosen to give up, but she chose to fight. She turned grief into motivation. She turned pain into determination. Today, Fahriye Hoti owns Cooperativa Krusha, a powerhouse that kick-started economic development and women empowerment through their active engagement in the labor force in a village in Kosovo. But most importantly, Cooperativa Krusha turned into a place of hope, now exporting its famous pepper spread and other products all around Europe, which I, of course, invite you to try. Her actions didn't just save the lives of hundreds of women in her village, but her story also inspired the debut feature of our brilliant film director, Blerta Basholi, the film Hive. Blerta, who is also with me today, became an all-time favorite artist in 2021 at Sundance Festival. The movie that depicts masterfully the life of Fahriye and the women of Krusha became the first film to win all 3 main awards in one of the most renowned world cinematic competitions. She has perfectly captured how the darkest parts of history can be turned into an eternal source of resilience, strength, and hope for the future. And as I speak of a better future, I can't help but think of Hana Cherimi, who is also accompanying me in this visit. She is the co-founder of Digital School and Star Labs, which started as 2 small companies in our capital, Pristina, initially with just 2 people, her and her husband. Today, their startups have grown into global brand names with 500 locations around the world. Like so many other businesses in this sector, they are making Kosovo a leader in the region as a tech hub. As the company's success started to cross borders and oceans, Hana has had to overcome near impossible challenges along the way. Due to onerous and bureaucratic processes, she would often miss the taste of her success and landing her next big opportunity, as her EU-issued visas would expire before she could even travel. And she'd have to apply and reapply multiple times per year. For years, it was you, this parliament, that has been fighting together with the people of Kosovo for the cause of visa liberalization. I want to thank each and every one of you for your vocal support and for the most recent vote that gave Hana and other brilliant and ambitious young people in my country the chance to thrive just like their peers in their union. I'm sure, like all of us, you will be glad to never hear the words visa liberalization and Kosovo in the same sentence again. Indeed, the stories of these people are the embodiment of what we call resilience. They embraced the past and turned it into a driving force to help our country and our society thrive. But in doing so, they always remember the importance of giving back. That is our humble way of saying thank you to our allies and friends who stood by us in the darkest times and supported us all the way as we are building back. Exxon Sula, who is joining me today as well, is from the search and rescue contingent of the Kosovo Security Force. He knows best what it means to give back. Egzon has led our team in the rescue efforts during the aftermath of the devastating earthquake in Turkey. Today, a 2-year-old baby, her mother, and many others are alive because Egzon and his team, their dedication and professionalism, show the true spirit of the people of Kosovo, one that never gives back, and one that never gives up, and always gives back. As I speak of the importance of giving back, I look at Lyudmila. Lyudmila Mackay was the first Ukrainian journalist to be hosted in Kosovo as part of the Journalist in Residence Kosovo program launched by our institutions and civil society in support of their cause to defend the truth. When she first arrived, Lyudmila said she chose Kosovo as a destination because she wanted to see life in a post-war country with her own eyes. She realized that the people of Kosovo would understand her best because of our shared experiences. But my people also know the unmatched feeling of freedom, liberty, and peace. And I hope the people of Ukraine will soon experience these feelings as they prevail over Russia's war of aggression. When you have known utter devastation, victory is precious, peace is invaluable, life is dear, and opportunities are seized to their fullest. That perhaps goes some way in explaining why, as a 2-time Summer Olympic partakers, our judokas, Mailinda, Distria, and Nora, have given us the immense privilege of being a country with 3 gold medals. Or perhaps why Dua Lipa and Rita Ora are not just household names in Kosovo, but also around the world, topping global music charts. Or why incredibly talented Kosovar football players, both men and women, shine as outstanding players for many of the clubs and national teams of your countries, and why our young mathematicians and other brilliant young scientists continue to make us proud with their successes worldwide. Every time our people are given an equal opportunity, they don't just exceed expectations, they make history and set world records. Remember this, dear friends, we are not just a country of believers, we are a country of achievers. And to all members of my delegation, I want to say thank you. Thank you for who you are and for making Kosovo a better place to this day. A better place for its people, a better place for our friends, a better ally and partner for all. It is because of these incredible individuals and many more in my country that I am so confident that in the near future we will be part of these institutions. And as I was coming in, I was also reminded that here with us today is a delegation from the Preševa Valley. To them, I want to say this: we will stand with you. You are not alone. You are not alone while facing gross violations of human rights, as recognized by this respectable institution in its latest resolution. Dear members of Parliament, despite the lack of justice and immense suffering over the years, the Republic of Kosovo and its people continue to look to the future, a European future. We have extended our hand of cooperation to all our neighbors, and we have done so in large part because our people deserve a brighter future, which also means more robust cooperation with our region. And as long as it is down to us, I can confidently say that the people and the institutions of Kosovo simply want peace and stability. Sustainable peace with justice as a foundation. Stability with respect for sovereignty and territorial integrity and good neighborly relations at its heart. But of course, in this process, we need strong European leadership that we so often witness in this Parliament and across every institution. This will require a proactive, credible, and straightforward roadmap for our region's future as part of the European family. Our advancement for membership in the European Union would serve as a catalyst for peace and reconciliation in a region where malign forces have historically and continue to sow divisions. And even as nowadays my country faces ongoing security challenges because of these malign forces, I am certain that the only way to overcome them is through partnerships and alliances. The very existence of the EU and the values that it represents are irreplaceable. But these values in our region, without a clear perspective of membership, risk being diminished. The lack of integration of democratic countries of the Western Balkans into the EU poses a major security threat to the entire European continent, as it leaves the region vulnerable to malign actors and threats. The integration of our region is not just of paramount importance, it is also of strategic significance. I am sure you will all agree that the membership of Slovenia and Croatia in the EU has only strengthened the EU position. It did not weaken it. The membership of Albania, North Macedonia, and Montenegro in NATO only strengthened regional peace and stability. It did not weaken it. I know that for many of you, I am already preaching to the converted. But as the truly democratic body of these institutions, as the guardians of the will of Europeans across the Union, I know you continue to have a vital role to play in pushing for our integration. Kosovo is not some faraway country. It is an integral part of Europe. The Western Balkans is not simply a neighborhood. It is a natural part of Europe and a strategic interest for the lasting peace and stability of this continent. That is why last year we applied for EU membership, and we hope that the EU institutions and member states will support our application. We count on the leadership and determination that this Parliament so often shows. And in return, I want to reassure each and every one of you that our patience will not wane. We will never stray from our Euro-Atlantic path. We have never looked the other way, and we will never do so. Indeed, we're not just with Europe in words, but also in action, with a 100% alignment on all foreign and security decisions of the European Union. The time has come for Kosovo to make meaningful steps towards the European path. Our journey has been marked by sacrifice, determination, and an unwavering belief in the values that bind our nations together. It is time for bold decisions and not half steps in terms of integration. Kosovo and the democratic countries of the Western Balkans deserve better. We are here by your side, and we are part of this family because a Europe whole, free, and at peace is only possible when we are all here in this Parliament as equals, collectively promoting, defending, and protecting Europe. We recognize the challenges that lie ahead on our path towards EU membership, but Kosovo has never and will never ask for shortcuts. We believe in a merit-based process for countries that truly respect and act upon what the EU stands for, because we cannot have European unity without European values. We cannot have peace, stability, and prosperity without member states that are willing to promote these values within their own countries and collectively defend them when they are under attack. We are ready to join hands with you, to contribute to a stronger, more prosperous and united Europe. Let us have the opportunity to showcase what we have achieved. Let us have the opportunity to enrich the lives of our citizens as we make reforms on our EU path. Let us give back to this family of nations that has given us so much. Let us all seize this historic opportunity together, and in doing so, reaffirm the European Union's commitment to justice, equality, and solidarity. Kosovo's rightful place within the European Union family will not only enrich our nation, but it will also strengthen the very foundations upon which the EU was built and strengthen our continent through even greater unity. Dear President Metsola, dear members of the Parliament, dear friends of Kosovo, I started my speech today with President Rugova, and I want to conclude with another winner of the Sakharov Prize from Kosovo, Adem Demaci, who spent almost 3 decades of his life in prison because of his fight for a free Kosovo where human rights are respected for all. When speaking upon receiving the prize in 1991, he said, "By honoring me, you are honoring the people of Kosovo, a peace-loving people, a freedom-loving people who are undergoing great suffering." Today, Madam President, esteemed members of Parliament, I want to thank you for giving me the honor to be the voice of the people of Kosovo before this valued institution. I hope this plenary has served as a meeting of minds, as a reunion of friends, and a testament to what we strive to become. As we aim for better and a brighter future for all, we must never forget where we have come from. We must always be reminded of how we got here and who stood by us in times of joy and in times of sorrow. I chose to also speak of our past because it has shaped our present and it remains vital as we frame our future. I chose to speak about the EU values because it is these values that serve as our moral compass and guide us and our people to the highest peaks of human achievement. I have spoken today about how much we share with the EU, with every one of us, how much both Kosovo and Ukraine share with each and every one of you. Because our two countries, Kosovo and Ukraine, no matter the distance, share a history of sorrow on common European soil, yet a future of great potential and opportunity in the common European family. Nothing illustrates this more powerfully than the shared colors of our flags, blue and yellow, two colors that tell a story, the blue sky and the yellow sun. Together, these colors represent hope for a new dawn. For Ukraine and for Kosovo, that new dawn is a just peace and membership in the European Union. For Europe, it is strength in new alliances and unity. Blue and yellow, the colors of Kosovo, the colors of Ukraine, the colors of Europe, and the colors of freedom. Thank you.